What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
I'm Mike.
I'm Brock, and we're once again joined by Jeff Manning, whoever that is.
Sometimes. I'm sometimes Jeff.
He's
Nice to see
always
you all
Jeff,
again.
but nobody knows who that is. Tonight, we're kicking off MegaTournament 2102, believe it or not, with Anaxis.
Anaxis?
Yeah, I was thinking of Anaxis.
You're both wrong. Anaxis. And Supernova.
I think you got that one right.
We've just doubled the women's division here in the GWF.
Now, to be fair, there was a handful of women in 2101.
There was a few. You had, but really
Miss
the only one that was any
Patriot.
good was Amazonia.
But you had Miss Patriot, you had Cassandra.
Miss Liberty.
Yeah.
You had 3. It now jumped to 5.
I thought there was like 5 I thought there was 5 with stats in 2101.
I don't remember. We should have prepared for this.
You guys never prepared.
If I was going to make that joke, I should have been ready to defend it.
And Thresh. Okay, we increased it by 1/3.
There you go. That's Canadian math. In 2101, you had Amazonia, Cassandra. Let's see here. I'm just looking at the gallery real quick.
Ms. Liberty.
And Thrash. I think those were your 4.
Maxine Babe.
Oh, yeah.
She had stats.
She did.
So, I mean, you had 5. If they didn't have any for Sonora Pelf or anything, but there's another woman in the GWF, but she didn't have stats.
We didn't even cover her in our MegaTournament 2101.
It's because you guys didn't think that one of the most influential people ever in GWF was important. With the lowest distractor rating of all time.
4.
I think that's factual, too.
And there were 2 of them on the card.
And there was 2 of them on the card. They should have at least doubled it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole, but there was 5. I knew there was 5. I've been playing 2101.
Still not a division.
It's not. No, I'll give you that. It was still a draw, but not a division. It's just what do they call that?
But if you wanted to fill out your women's division, you could pick up GWF Secret History Female Warriors.
The artwork looks nothing like the rest of the artwork that we've ever had. But
let's see who was active during this time period.
I have no idea. I have not bought that yet. I got to be honest.
Not one of the characters in this set, but you previous to this set.
None of them were active in 2102.
No.
Or if you're like me and don't follow the storylines, you could use them all.
Yes, they're perfect for that. But if you
and the GWFZ had some too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I filled up my women's promotion with GWFZ. Some women from the BrocsterBuilds.
Mm-hmm.
And from Loud and Noxious is his women's set.
That was a good set. I forget what it was called, but I have a copy of that.
If you're watching, comment down below.
Yeah. What was it? What is it? What is it called?
I don't remember what it was called.
It was a good set, though.
But I mean, you'd think with the boom, and I look back at like 2015 in real time, that there would be a women's federation or a big portion of it now, because it's had a boom in real wrestling. I mean, professional wrestling.
Yep.
The Indies line is very well represented by women.
Yes, but that's not GWF.
No, even the Legends line is too.
And but, there are guys like Ty States and Chris Sinclair who are heavily into the Indies women and run Shimmer Feds and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Shimmer sets were awesome. They really were.
You can run a Fed with just those cards.
But they should do that with the GWF. I mean, you'd think at this time period they would be more active.
Mm-hmm.
I
think this is a step in the right direction, the Secret Histories, because all the
It is, but it's not, because it just wasn't well received. And the fact that they're throughout different timelines and the artwork looks completely different, and it's like you're asking for one thing and you got something different, you know.
I think it's Tom's attempt at trying to level out some of the women.
I agree.
But to do it with old timelines like that we've already played, that hurts. That always hurts when a new card comes out and you've already played that timeline.
True.
I want like a side set, like a side option with the current GWF that says, hey, you can buy this women's set and they're currently active alongside of it.
I just remembered. I also used Tiger Mask and Draconian Chic from the NWO.
What are you talking about? They weren't women.
Poor Jeff. He doesn't
Poor
know.
Jeff. I don't think I have those handy. I did have them handy earlier today, but I think I put them away.
There's Draconian Chic. I think it's a Corey Olson creation, and it's
Spelled-
CHIC, or you can pronounce it Chick.
It's
I wouldn't
chic
pronounce
though.
it chic, but
Yeah.
got it. I'm not French. That's French, right? I don't know.
I don't know.
But let's start off with Anaxis.
Onyxus.
I like Anaxis. I think it's Anaxis.
Onyxus.
I'm gonna quickly look it up to see if it's actually an actual word.
Well, I'm
It
going to
probably
look
isn't.
up. I've got her brought up in the handbook. You want me to go ahead and get
Yes.
into
This
it?
is my favorite part.
Why? Because you sit there and say nothing?
Yeah.
Or because you lost them in the shuffle and you're finally figuring out who they are?
Mm-hmm. I read the
Alright,
books
so
25 years ago.
Anaxis is Heracles' valet. When Anaxis wrestles, she is accompanied to ringside by Heracles or Morpheus. She's a part of the Citadel. She was a part of a tag team called the Enchantresses with Cassandra. Her main feuds were Supernova and Miss Liberty. I'm not going to read her finisher, although it was a call of the Siren. I'm not going to explain what it is. Don't want to give everything away. Spoiler alert. All right, background. Anaxis is the greatest female wrestler in ancient Greece. Heracles asked her to join the GWF to bolster his claim that ancient wrestlers are the original and greatest wrestlers of all time. Anaxis is a mysterious woman whose arrogance is more quietly stated than the brash and loud macho style of Heracles. She is an accomplished wrestler, but also is capable of brawling and underhanded tactics. Anaxis feels that she must defeat Supernova to prove her superiority. In fact, Anaxis has formed a tag team with Cassandra in order to counter Supernova's team. Cassandra named the team the Enchantresses because she considers herself and Anaxis to be beguiling yet powerful women. Heracles feels like he's on top of the world since joining the Citadel and bringing Anaxis to the GWF. But how long before his teammates become annoyed by the attention-grabbing words and actions of Heracles and Anaxis? There you go. That's the summary of her debut in 2102.
Okay.
But the ancient wrestlers coming in were better. They have something to stand on. I mean, Heracles does all right for me. Greek gods were good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little history there.
Just another Greek. The actual Anaxis was a Greek person just before the ascension of King Philip of Macedonia. So that's the time period that the original Anaxis came from.
Wasn't she an author?
That's what they're thinking of.
Okay.
The history isn't all that great in 360 BC.
Right.
What do you mean?
Anaxis.
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 I figured it was like Jax or like Ajax or something like.
Yeah, because those are Greek words.
No,
Ajax was.
I'm teaming. She's teaming up with Cassandra for me.
Onyxus.
You're gonna make me.
They're currently the longest GWF Women's Tag Team Champions. Anaxis and Cassandra for me.
Did you say longest tag team champions or longest female tag team champions?
Longest female, sorry, tag team champions.
Yeah. I was just wondering.
And you know what I call them?
The Enchantresses.
The Greek gods. No, I call them the god. I call them the Greek goddesses.
I bet you do.
I do.
The book's not good enough for you.
I don't even think they were a tag team, were they?
Yes.
They were the Enchantress. You didn't pay attention to
you didn't even pay attention. He's over there looking up pronunciations and stuff. And yeah. Ajax was a Greek hero, Broc. He's in Greek mythology. I mean, you make me angry. I'm over this.
Ajax.
Have you never watched the movie Troy? He's in that.
Yeah. But yeah,
What?
Anaxis.
and she's currently feuding Miss Liberty.
What do you want?
Doesn't he know we're live?
He doesn't. I'm gonna mute him.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
They did feud in the official storyline, it looks like. A little bit.
So amazingly enough, I'm following a storyline without realizing it.
Yeah. Supernova teamed with Ms. Liberty. We'll get to that, I'm sure.
Yep.
But
For me as well.
looking at her card, pretty stacked.
Anaxis? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys. Apparently, my mute doesn't mute on the screen. I have to actually hit mute.
It's okay.
I have a mute
We'll let-
button on my mic, but it didn't work. I had to hit mute on Zoom. I had kids interrupting me and whatnot.
Kids.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's got what, a +2 finisher?
+3.
+3 finisher, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
She's
good
got a
enough.
-1 in both power and agility.
Yeah.
I
So
think she was a level below Supernova and Amazonia, but she
Mm-hmm.
was a quality adversary.
Yeah, but with that +3 finisher, that's what makes them. Anybody with a +3 finisher can pull off the upset victories.
Yeah, if they can get on offense.
And she's good enough to get on offense. She's not, she's no sweet thing.
But who is?
Ms. Liberty.
Walked into that one.
And I
Yeah,
know
for-
Jeff hasn't introduced him yet.
I used them as a special attraction, though, so I didn't really play with these
Yeah.
girls. I mean, I have a couple women's matches a year.
Jeff treats women just like the midget wrestlers. Everybody hear that? Yeah.
There
Sideshow.
wasn't enough of them. It's not my fault. I keep them on the sky low. No, but I used them as valets and storylines. Just there wasn't enough of them to have a division. You know my loathing of too many titles. I'm not going to give somebody a title when there's 5 contenders total in the whole federation. Like, it's just not going to happen.
That's a good point.
I mean, how many times can you have Amazonia versus whoever, because she was dominant in that era?
Mm-hmm. She also has a distractor rating on her card of 6.
Because she's a valet.
Mm-hmm.
Which is literally the first thing is Anaxis is Heracles' valet. Did neither one of you listen to
No,
that?
I was just pointing out what it was.
I listened to it, and she is.
You did not.
No. I knew that.
You didn't know the enchantresses. You were like, I called them Greek goddesses. What did they call them?
I didn't like the name.
Well, that's fair, but you didn't even listen to the name. Mike gets the cards in the book, and here's the book out the window. Here's the cards. I'm going to figure this out.
I'm the opposite.
If only I knew more about these characters. Broc's like, here's the cards. 2-card pickup. I'm just going to read the book.
I'm familiar with all these people.
I've heard of them. I don't know how to pronounce them, but I've heard of them.
Yeah.
Yep, we are gonna have a show just on how to say people's names one day. Kraken, Reynard, Anaxis.
And we'll bring Tom on.
We're going to get them all wrong. He'll get them wrong, too. He'd be like, I don't remember. I'm going to big time you that episode.
You always do. This is rare for a female character too, is she has the double out of the ring.
So the regular and then the one with the choice option.
Mm-hmm.
What is
She's
her ring?
surprisingly violent. What's her ring? It's just B, isn't
A.
it? Oh, it's an A. So she is really nasty.
Everything else is a
would
B though.
If you listen to her bio, she is violent. Not only is she
No,
a
I
great
know that.
wrestler, she also does brawling and underhanded tactics.
That's why she's a heel in my Fed.
She was a heel in everybody's Fed.
No, but she is. Well, when you have now 7 women in your Fed, she may
8,
not.
you can run a tournament.
Yep.
One
Somebody
more.
gets a first round bye.
You got to give it to Supernova.
What I just wonder what I don't remember. What was Amazonia's raw rating versus the rest of the wrestlers at this point? Because she was just stacked, right?
Let's go take a look.
Yeah, but women wrestlers get a decrease on all their stats against men, as it should be.
I'm talking about the women's Fed or the women's
Oh, okay.
Okay,
championship,
her card at
not
this
using it
time
against
is
other people.
40-41 was Amazonia at
That's a
this
pretty high
time.
rating.
It is. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Is she was dominant comparative to the other competitors.
She was 28-31, so full 10 points below. Supernova, for comparison, 43-50, so Supernova's better.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. I've looked at Supernova's card. I didn't think it was better than Amazonia's, but maybe I'm remembering it incorrectly. According to
then
Raw, I am.
Cassandra, 14-14. Let's see, Thrash.
Thrash was decent,
Yeah, Thrash was okay.
but not up there with these guys. The Amazonians.
Thrash was 40-41.
Was she?
Yep.
Hmm.
And then Ms. Liberty.
Well, maybe I was wrong all along.
Have we ever figured out who created the raw ratings?
Lord Raw. That was his name on the message boards. It was named after him.
Yeah.
Ms. Liberty, 2020.
You mean his real life persona?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Nobody knows who he is.
I don't know if he ever came to a convention or anything.
Maxine Babe, 5-11.
Wow. That's
But if you think about it, if everybody gets a shot at the title and one person's holding it, it's like every 6 months you'll have the same matchups. They could each face the champ
Yeah.
twice a year.
there you go.
I mean, you really don't need a rating system. It'd just be like, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much what
But-
WWE did in this era as well.
Yeah. I mean, they didn't have a women's title for a big gap there. I mean,
Hmm
Moolah held it for what, 40 some years?
Something like that. 95. Alundra Blaze was there in 95, and she would just fight the random.
That she took the title with her and dropped it in the trash.
Yeah,
That
she
was like
did.
her only
Yeah, but she-
appearance in WCW.
Alundra Blaze had that feud with Bull.
Yeah,
Bull
Bull
Nakano,
Nakano.
yeah.
Aja
Nakano,
Kong,
Nakano.
she had a little feud with her too. But
Bull
how would you power
Nakano.
creep? Since she never got another card. Neither one of these two did.
I would give her an A rope.
Okay.
2 A's. Just to be different.
I'll bump her. I'll move everything up on level 3 and make Boston Crab a level 3 move. Because it's a Boston Crab 2 at number 1 on 3 right now.
Jeffrey, what would you do?
I don't power creep. If I were, I don't know. Let's see here. Can I get rid of the choice A on level 1 offense with the on the 6
Sure.
spot? I just don't like choice A's because it leads to ropes, and ropes is just reverse too much.
Yep. Hence why I went with the A ring.
She already had an A ring.
No, she had oh, sorry, I went with A ropes.
Yeah, there you go. There you go, kiddo.
Yeah.
5'9", 149 for Anaxis.
So let's pop over then to Supernova, who has arguably for me one of the worst drawings for a woman wrestler ever.
But she is the inspiration for Mighty Molly. Probably not. But
She is.
sounds good. Sounds good.
Would it be sexist to say she's wearing dishwashing gloves?
These are oil changing gloves. But yes, she has the gloves, the infamous gloves.
Yeah.
This is a legacy character here.
Yeah. What did you think Omega only had 2 sons? I'm pretty sure that's how her bio starts off.
Are you going to read it for us?
Sure.
I'll pay attention, I promise.
I read it earlier, so I think that's exactly how it starts. Supernova, managed by her dad, Omega. Team Champions of the Galaxy. Tag Team Feminine Fury with Miss Patriot. Main feuds, Anaxis and Cassandra. And there it goes. Background. Did you think for all this time that Omega only had 2 sons? Well, here comes Supernova. Supernova is the youngest of 4 children of Omega. Another son, believe it or not, has not gone into GWF wrestling. Watching her father and 2 brothers in the GWF led her to set a goal of following in their footsteps. She trained in secret to avoid publicity and finally felt ready to enter the GWF this year. Where Alpha Force and Star Warrior are basically serious competitors, Supernova is lighthearted and easygoing. She likes to play harmless pranks on her partners and help keep the team relaxed. Once she gets in the ring, however, she's all business, and she possesses the legendary physical prowess that seems genetically linked to the Omega family. Miss Patriot helped train Supernova in 2101, and they have become good friends. They have agreed to form a tag team called Feminine Fury. They have been challenged by Anaxis and Cassandra to a tag team duel. It's Feminine Fury versus the Enchantresses in a classic women's tag feud. Which at this time I don't think we had any classic women's tag feud. So
It's the
we'll go
women's
with it.
tag feud.
Yeah, it's the only one we've had.
I can't wait for Jeff to introduce it in his Fed.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
She'll probably make an appearance at my big card, Galacticon, and then have like one off here and there. I mean, but that's a lot of pressure on her in my Fed. So I don't know if you guys have been following along, but my Hall of Fame consists of the singles wrestlers are Omega, Thanatos, Star Warrior, Alpha Force. That's the list of them so far as of 2101.
So not a lot of pressure there on her.
No
Uncle
pressure
Thanatos.
at all. Yeah. I mean, at this point, he is Star Warrior's best friend again.
Right?
So you had Alpha Force in the Hall of Fame, and he's still wrestling?
I don't limit that. If they are next on my points, like for total, they get voted in. They can still wrestle as a Hall of Famer.
Like Rey Mysterio.
I mean, Star Warrior's still wrestling, so is Thanatos. Now they're a tag team, but their tag team's in the Hall of Fame as well because I find that funny too because I'm like they're also in the Hall of Fame. The Game Masters and the Gladiators are the only 2 tag teams I have in the Hall of Fame so far, which the Gladiators are now at least gone. Yeah, but I mean, you never know when people are going to retire. So, I mean, like, I look at WWF and WWE when they do the Hall of Fame, they have guys that are now the Hall of Famer and they're wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't really think it matters because their credentials aren't going to go down.
True. They can only add to them.
Yeah, they can only add at that point.
I have Supernova as my current GWF Women's Champion.
Wow. That's what we're talking about.
So on this show, I have my tag champions and my women's champion. How coincidental is that?
I mean, on the women's side, you had 1 in 7 chance.
For you, maybe. I have 16 women that I use.
Wow, you go above and beyond.
Yeah, and I bumped it up to 20 because I introduced a few more for starting in my new year. And remember, I'm in 2105, so I have a few more things to choose from.
I'll get there. I'm playing again, so I'll get there. I'll probably pass you eventually.
Well, it'll be easy because you only have 4 matches on a card.
I added double the cards. Big announcement. It was planned eventually anyway. If you ever watched my 2119, I had both shows when I did the 2119 to 2130. So it was coming. I just had to decide when, and I decided now is the time. Just for you, because all that pressure. I might bring in another title someday.
No, I'm waiting. I was explaining that to you earlier on why you need 4 titles.
I appreciate the titles and I appreciate the input, but I just don't think that there's enough guys there right now to do it.
You have like 40 guys.
Not singles, I have 31.
That's still quite a bit.
It's quite a bit, yeah.
It's a champion and 2 top 20 contenders.
But you think that eventually, and I know eventually CPC and GWF are going to separate. If the GWF has 3 titles, and that means I'm going to have 3 in the CPC, which means I'm going to have 6 titles instead of the 2 I have now. That's a bit much. I think that, in my mind at least, GWF might add one once CPC breaks away to differentiate themselves. Spoiler alert.
Okay. I'll let
But
you
anyway,
wait.
back to the women. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you have titles. Did you ever have titles at this point, Brock?
No.
So if you had titles at this point, please post below who your champions were, because I don't have a lot to talk about here.
Now Supernova beat Amazonia in her feud. So that was a pretty solid feud they had.
But why did they feud? They're both faces.
Amazonia is a bad guy in my fed.
How dare you? You
I
couldn't even make
know.
her just a tweener. I mean, she's with Wolf. He's a tweener.
No, Wolf's a bad guy.
Oh, come on.
All the Any-Man all formed a super group and attacked Chaos and Pegasus while they were in a match and
Hmm.
swarmed them. There was like 8 of them. So the Citadel and the FDF joined together to feud the Any-Man in my biggest feud ever.
Wow.
That's so stereotypical of you to have the animals in a pack.
Yeah, animal pack. But then they
Mhm.
got broken up because they lost a feud. And they lost badly.
I've
Not
never
surprised.
have thought about booking them as heels.
Really?
Wolf
Wolf is
maybe,
heel?
but I mean he had to run with the gladiators, so he had that in him, but
And Ram.
not
Ram
that.
turned heel
Yeah,
on the
Ram is a heel, but that's just bad judgment. Brotherhood's done nothing for him.
but let's get back to the women here.
Yeah, let's talk about the women that I didn't
So
play.
Supernova, other than a bad drawing, I think it was Kevin Butcher that because Randy Bugdale did a Supernova holding the belt above her head. He did a picture for a promoter,
Hmm.
and I think Kevin took that picture and made a card of Supernova. So he got rid of that crappy drawing and made a new Supernova picture.
Nice.
Yeah, because I think Amazon. Oh no, trying to think of who's holding that title. Is it Amazonia holding that title or Supernova? One of them.
I can picture see the drawing in my head, but I can't remember who had the title.
Because I remember Thrash is on the one side because she's holding a spiked baseball bat. Kevin, we know you watch. Let us know. You're one
You
of
can
our
even let us
steady.
know in the comments.
Yeah,
There you go.
you're one of our steady 50 viewers a week. Hey, which isn't too bad.
No, it's not.
Well,
Now
this
that
was
we
a
got that.
Bendis drawing.
Yeah,
It was.
we know.
Oh, you've gone on and on about how awful the drawing is. I just wanted to put that out there for the people that may not know.
I had a long conversation with Brian at the Toronto Comic Con, and he himself said, "Yeah, I'm not an artist."
He was at the time. For his own self-published stuff.
I mean, it got his foot in the door,
It did.
but yeah, not impressive GWF wise.
But for Supernova, what's her back like? Her finishers and her stats.
She's got a +2 finisher,
Well,
-3 agility, -1 power. She's keeping you on level 3. Her number 1 move is a choice G.
her
She's
ring
got
and rope and all that.
A, B, B. So ropes, turnbuckle are an A, ring and death jump are a B.
So I get to power creep
Hmm.
because I love power creeping. I want to get rid of one of those down threes.
You can.
Give her 1.
So just give her 1 instead of 2. I mean, I know the 1 has a leave option, but with a ring B, I either roll to see if they get to go out of the ring, or I do every other. It's not like with an A that they always go out.
I want to
Yeah.
change her finisher to the Cosmic Big Bang.
You don't
So
like
you have to
her
roll for it.
sunset flip from the turnbuckle? That's what it is.
Speed of
Yeah.
light.
It's a sunset flip from the turnbuckle.
That should be at least a +3.
Yeah. But give her the now. the first Cosmic Big Bang from the first Star Warrior. The +3 finisher. Let her copy her brother's finisher.
But she's light and airy. She's not as serious as Star Warrior.
She just likes to have fun.
Yeah.
But she's agile.
she is-
She's a -3. She could get up there.
But
She
she's
should.
all business when she's in the ring.
That is true. It does say that here.
It does.
So that's I know it's a bit of a slow chat because two of you guys. Well, we're used to Brock not wrestling, and Jeff, only uses women as sideshow freaks.
Attractions. Nobody said sideshow freaks, Mike. That means they're overly important. They're so important. They're only used on big shows.
I'm just trying to find that drawing we were talking about.
Oh, one from the promoter.
Yeah,
I think it's actually
I don't have
in
my
the.
promoter right here.
I think it's in one of the GWF files.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that handy. I'm just going through the gallery.
But we can talk about our Mount Rushmore, but we decided to switch things up. And instead of doing our favorite, we're going to do our worst.
Okay.
Just
So our
terrible,
least
just
favorite.
terrible.
Yeah, terrible.
Terrible in the words of Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
Terrible, just terrible.
We're going to do our least favorite musical acts.
There we go.
That's rough. You're going to rouse some people up here tonight.
Yeah. So
Hopefully.
who would like to start?
I can if you want. I don't care.
Go for it.
What does Jeff have for his most
My
hated,
least favorite.
least favorite musical act?
So this is a tough one for me because I love music and I have like a million songs on my playlist. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but I do have a vast variety of music on my playlist. So I was trying to think of people that I just don't connect with any of their songs, or I always turn the channel when I hear one of their songs. And I also wanted to give some that were a little more popular. I didn't want to just take the easy route and say everybody hates these guys,
Yeah.
So one of the modern people that a lot of people around my area really enjoy that I just can't get into, and he was a former American Idol, I believe, was Chris Stapleton. Great voice. He boasts that it's just very boisterous. It's out there. I understand why people enjoy him, but I haven't heard a single song from him I enjoy.
He was on American Idol?
Pretty sure.
I don't know.
I think I only watched the first 2 seasons of that with my wife.
I've never watched a season, but usually you hear when they blow up that this is where they're from, or you see little reels posted online and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna look it up just cause. I don't want to be wrong.
And who else? Well, you're looking up Chris Stapleton.
Well, now I can't look up Chris Stapleton. So, all right. Next would be, and this is a more modern person as well, and then I'm gonna go take it back a little bit. But Nicki Minaj, I'm a big rap fan. I've listened to rap forever. I think in my generation of rap, a lot of the women were underrated. I'm talking like MC Light, Foxy Brown, Eve. I feel like they don't get enough love in the rap community. Nicki Minaj is awful. I just her, and you can take Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, which are all very similar, right along with her. I haven't heard a single song from them that I've enjoyed ever, and they're raunchy. They're not enjoyable. Everything wrong with the modern rap. And I actually saw her in concert once because she was opening up for Lil Wayne, and I hated it. But so there's that. Then I'm gonna go a little back, and this one probably shocks some people, but I'm really not a fan of Prince. I feel like as a musician, he's very impressive. Like I know his skill set, I know as a guitarist, all that. I know his history, and I think he's a very interesting individual. But there's not a single song I have on my playlist. I mean, I don't get crazy. I don't, party like it's 1999, whatever. I don't know what all he's saying, but the ones I've heard, I'm not really a fan. I'm just not. I appreciate the guy's talent, but not a fan.
I have so many Prince songs on my phone.
And that's why I don't let you DJ whenever I play with you. No, I'm just not a fan. I've tried. I feel like I can get, and that's the other thing about my list. I wanted to give people that I've listened to. There's other bands out there. I'm not a big, older rock guy, so there's bands I've not listened to that I didn't want to put on the list because I just don't know. But these are people I've given chances to, and I just can't. My fourth one is going to be Shania Twain. Growing up in this area with a lot of country, I could not stand her in that era. Like you could put her music videos on mute, and I could watch them because she's attractive. But the Any Man of Mine, the Whose Bed Have Your Boots Been Under, the all that, just take it with you. I don't need it. I don't want to hear it. It's annoying. Can't stand it. Um, and I did pick a honorable mention. They don't make the list because I understand why people like them, but I wanted to also have a band because I didn't have any bands on my list. So I went with Rush. I know there's a lot of people that are huge into Rush. Not a Rush fan. Don't like them. Don't like them at all.
And Rush.
Nope, don't like them. I've tried. I've listened. Not a fan. Just can't get into them. I don't understand the appeal. All right, so Rush, I just can't get into. There was a guy that I grew up with that I just didn't really care for, and he had a Rush tattoo once we got a little older, and I probably associate them somewhat with him. Didn't really care for him, but
Subconsciously,
yeah,
you hate him because of some douche.
yeah. I mean, that could be. It's not. I don't like. I don't really care for Tom Sawyer. I think Huck Finn would have been better. I'm just kidding. I just there's nothing about it besides the fact that they're kind of the focal point in the movie "I Love You, Man," which I thought was hilarious. Don't really care for them. Just can't do it. Sorry, Mike.
They do take some getting used to. It did take me a while, but you probably won't ever find a better 3-person musical act.
And it's not their music. I just don't care for their songs. I mean,
And
I don't know.
and Geddy Lee's voice can get grating. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm more aware of their band members too. Like a lot of bands, I can't name the band members. Obviously, with Rush, I can, but I just don't care for them.
No, hey, that it's all about controversy here. You're
You
shooting
asked
over Prince.
you
Controversy.
you asked for my anti Mount
Yeah.
Rushmore, and I delivered. Hot takes.
Okay, so I'll go next. My first one is one of my wife's bands that she likes, and she plays it and gets on my nerves. UB40.
See, I've got a couple UB40s on my playlist.
I just
Just can't help falling in love.
cannot handle
They
that.
covered that.
Red wine. No,
Red
sorry.
wine quality. Yep, I like it.
Something to do with rats. That comes up all the time. Another one. Heart.
I can see that one.
I am not a fan of Heart. Just now, I'll admit, they're saying, great guitar work. No, just does not do it for me. Cannot, just can't get into them. The number one, as soon as I hear her music, my most hated. As soon as I hear this singer start off, I'm immediately changing the channel. Madonna.
Oh.
I do not like any Madonna songs. Can't even stand her.
I don't like her as a person, but I think her songs are catchy,
No.
especially in the '80s. Just she was ahead of her time.
Very well could be. I just could not get into Madonna whatsoever. It was just one of those things where I'm like, nope, can't do it. Then this might come as a shocker to people, but Nirvana. I was never a Nirvana fan. And I grew up, the 90s grunge. I look like I still am in the grunge zone. And I like the other grunge bands, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Mother Love Bone, Screaming Trees, but Nirvana, nope. Could not do that.
Nirvana, never mind. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
That was a good
Hey,
one.
that's
Dun-dun-dun.
I like Nirvana, but I mean, I'm not huge into them. But I have the radio played songs on my playlist and stuff.
I like Nirvana, but I feel like they're very overrated.
yeah.
Well, they are, but you could say that about almost any artist that died prematurely.
Yeah, the 27 Club.
It happens. It happens with so many artists in every
Yeah.
genre. It's you hear that in the rap world with Biggie and Tupac. I like both of them, but best of all time, they weren't around long enough to do best of all time.
Yeah.
Especially Biggie. Tupac at least had like a handful of albums before he died.
Mhm.
Biggie had 2.
Yeah.
It was like
And
you
Tupac
can't.
was doing a lot of movies and other stuff too.
Yeah,
And
and he was fantastic. I like him. I
Mhm.
listened
He
to
was
him
a
a
great
lot.
backup dancer for Bobby Brown. Or no,
He
for
was Digital Underground, Humpty
Digital
Hump,
Underground. Yeah.
carried record crates and then danced in the background. No, but I mean, you see it across the board. And I think Nirvana definitely falls in that category. Is that they get
Yeah.
overrated in a lot of lists because what could have been.
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
I do think they get too much credit for the grunge movement, though. There were a
But
lot
they
of
were
bands involved in that.
the first ones that got over a lot of airplay. That's why.
True.
There
and
was
Well,
other
It
then
ones
Smells
that
Like Teen Spirit was a good crossover hit.
yeah, that's what it was. It put it on the board. Like
Hmm.
now we got this different genre of music. That was most people's introduction to it.
Right.
the last artist, my honorable mention, as Jeff was just talking about him, Biggie Smalls.
All right.
And I grew up listening to, rap. I was around just as it started, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and I went into Run DMC and Big Daddy Kane and Public Enemy. So all my rap is all old school stuff.
No love for Sugar Hill Gang.
I don't mind. And Rob G and all those guys, yeah. But yeah, I just couldn't get into Biggie Smalls. I just don't even
Sad.
like his voice. It sounds like he's, just don't even like the sound of his voice. It just grates on me.
That's a shame because we'll always love Big Papa.
What do
Fun.
you got? What do you got for us, Brock?
I'll start off with the one that's probably most controversial. AC/DC. I think every song sounds identical. The
You sound
singing
like
is
my wife.
awful.
But they have 2 lead singers. You gotta break it up.
They're both bad.
See, I
'Cause they
like
sound the same.
AC/DC, but I like AC/DC, but I see how you could not.
Hmm.
You know what I
I'll
mean?
listen
Like,
to it. Like, it's not, they don't annoy me to the point where I'll turn them off.
there's only
But
one AC/DC song that I will turn off, and it's because it got so played so much. Was that You Shook
Shook
Me
Me All
All
Night
Night
Long.
Long?
yeah,
I cannot.
Yeah.
That song I don't listen to anymore. Like that got played out. It was
See,
too
I'm not a
much.
big Brian Johnson fan,
Bon Scott's
but
better, but
Bon Scott, oh yeah.
the
That's fair
high
though.
pitch, it gets to a point where you can't even understand what he's saying.
But
It's
even though I
just
like them, I see how you couldn't. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I see it.
Next, I'll go with something from my teenage years, Limp Bizkit.
Limp Bizkit. Now,
Yeah.
Undertaker coming out to Limp Bizkit didn't do it for you?
No,
Did you keep
I admit when
rolling,
I was a
rolling,
kid, like
rolling?
I was into it, and like I can't listen, like all the other stuff from like my childhood, I can listen to, but when they come on, no, I can't.
I don't have any Limp Bizkit on my playlist, but I
Yeah,
feel like there was a time when I enjoyed them, so I couldn't put them on the list.
I enjoyed them at a time, but now it's like why was this ever popular? Like,
I have like 2 Limp Bizkit songs on my phone, so I can't say much.
I don't have any. I can
they had
say
I mean,
I know
they
of
had
it.
a couple good songs, but most of it was just trying to out Limp Bizkit the last song, if that makes any sense. Then I'm gonna have Master P and the entire No Limit group.
Oh, you're such a hater.
They suck.
Oh, you don't want to make them say,
No, I don't want to make them say anything. I want them to shut up because all they
Yeah,
talked about is the stuff that they had. It wasn't
you're
good.
killing
It
me.
wasn't telling a story.
So No Limit, that's not fair. I have a few No Limit songs I can show you that told stories. I will say they were a genre that you may not be into. I get it, but they used to release like an album every week. So me and my friends,
Yeah,
that as we're poor high school kids, we'd take turns buying their albums and
and burn them.
rotate through who had. No, we had who well, burning wasn't a thing at that point yet, really. So we would rotate who had which CD because like every week somebody different would buy them out of my group of like 4, and then we'd rotate who had which CD and we'd pass them along to each other because they'd come out so frequently.
They did.
If you look at them back then, it was so much. But Masterpiece, Silk the Shocker, Mystical,
I think
those are
Master
my
P was
guys.
the worst of them.
I would disagree. I'd say his brother C Murder was the one.
C Murder's in jail for murder.
For murder, yeah. I go stand in court and be like,
Who
I did
saw
not
that
murder that
coming?
man. I liked No Limit a lot though, so I'm not gonna. I'll give it to you. I understand, but no.
And then I'm gonna go with the Backstreet Boys
Well, that's a good call.
for the same reason. I mean, the boy bands are pretty big, but if you play like the hook of every one of their songs is identical.
So
Look
you
it up
don't
on
want it that
YouTube.
way.
There's someone who
You
plays
don't.
them one right after another, and they are identical.
You don't want it that way.
I don't want it that way. But Backstreet's back, all right. How many was that?
That's your 4, but you could have an honorable mention.
I'm gonna put an honorable mention of Justin Timberlake just because
Oh, come on.
No, I don't
I don't
like
like
his
the
music,
human
but
being.
he's a great comedic actor.
Man, you don't like any Justin Timberlake? Come on.
NSYNC
I
was
like
better.
I like Justin Timberlake. I think he's a good singer, and I like his acting. I love Trouble with the Curve. Uh, Fantastic movie. A baseball movie, one of my favorites.
I'm leaving him on the list. You're not going to convince me otherwise.
You know what really surprises me of all of our lists, though, is nobody mentioned like Nickelback.
That's such a cop out.
It
Like
is a
they're not
cop
even
out.
bad.
I don't have
Well,
any issues with Nickelback.
I do actually. I don't think they're very
And
good.
Mike
But
has to listen to him every 10 songs.
because it's Canada. I'll say this: when "How You Remind Me" came out, I liked it. I didn't like any song after that, and I was like, okay, I can't listen to this band. But I'm not to the point of hate that other people are. I had other bands I
I never
disliked
understood
more.
the Nickelback hate. I mean, these guys are selling out arenas still.
It just became popular to dislike them.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was cool to hate them.
I have no issue with them.
But I don't like their songs. I like the very first one that came out, and then I realized, this band's really not for me. But that happens with a lot of bands.
I don't know if they're still putting stuff out or if they're just torn on the stuff that they've done.
I wouldn't know either.
My original list was going to be a bunch of one-hit wonders, so I'm glad I kind of switched it up.
Yeah, I didn't.
Well, that's why I wanted to pick people that would other people genuinely enjoy. Like, not just the one hit wonders. That's easy. You could always put like every list you see out there has like "We Built This City" on it, or as "Don't Worry, Be Happy," or "The Macarena," or "I'm Too Sexy," or yeah, those songs are awful. We get it.
Right Said Fred was great.
They look like the Basham Brothers. I was gonna say that.
They did. Maybe they are the Basham Brothers.
They were on to something. We caught on before anybody else. Wrestling fans know.
Have you guys ever paid it? You know who Nina Simone is? So she was a jazz singer, fairly famous singer. You'd look at it, you'd know her songs if you went on Spotify or Apple Music or something.
You don't know her, but you know her work.
Yeah, you
That's
would.
a lot of people, actually.
Yeah, they're
So
like that.
I've listened to Nina Simone for years, and she's got a documentary on Netflix. So I watched it, and I was like, "Wow, she was kind of a dick."
There's a lot of people like that.
And you're like, maybe I don't want to listen to her music anymore, but I'm still going to. But now that I know she wasn't, when her kids are going, when her daughter's going, I'm going to go live with dad, and dad left you left dad because he beat you up.
Yeah.
But dad's still a better person than you. It kind of shows what kind of character Nina Simone was. When your dad is an abusive monster, but the kids are going, dad's a better choice.
I think there's a lot of things like that where you can separate the artistry from the person, though. Like I always
Kelly
hear
and
that
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, when people are like, "Oh, you can't listen to that because they did this," I'm like, I still like the songs. I just don't care for the person. Madonna was kind of that way. Not that I have any Madonna on my playlist, I don't. But in the '80s, she was huge, and I listened to her songs on the radio. And separate the person. I knew the person wasn't very likable.
Shantae, that's another female rapper I used to listen to in the 90s.
Yep. I mean, No Limit had Mia X, who was better than anything they got out right now. There was named Silky Fine I liked that she used to be on one of the shows on MTV called The Cut, hosted by Lisa Left Eye Lopez, and it was actually she was a really good rapper. Yeah, she had Andre Rison's number tattooed on her arm.
I'm not a fan of any current rap, honestly.
It's hard. There's not a lot out there that says anything or does anything. And I never thought I'd be that guy. I'm now the old guy. It's like,
yeah, that's us.
How do you kids listen to this stuff? But I try to give it a fair shake. Like, I'll load up on Spotify New Music Friday almost every week and try to listen to at least 15, 20 new songs. and there's very rarely I add anything to my list.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh, this is good. Like, and usually if it's something that does catch my attention, it's because they're sampling something I'm familiar
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
This mumble rap movement, I can't get
Nah,
behind it.
you can make a whole list of people on that. Like I thought about like
I wouldn't
putting
know
like
who any of
that.
them were.
I thought about putting that Takashi 6ix9ine on the list.
That guy.
Like I've heard his songs; they are awful.
Red
I don't know how
Kingdom.
anyone.
That's the only one I listen to. Red.
How does anyone listen to any of this? It's so garbage.
If it wasn't for the Spider-Man animated like movie, the
Dude, you're asking the wrong guy. I know it's everything I've
Into
heard
the
from that.
Spider-Verse?
yeah,
It's been
Into the
awful.
Spider-Verse, I wouldn't know any modern rap songs for that movie.
Well, I do like a Boogie with the Hoodie. He's a newer rapper that has some songs I like. That's
Yeah,
his
I couldn't
literal
name
name,
any.
a Boogie with the Hoodie.
But we should wrap this up. We've been our hated Mount Rushmore went on pretty in depth.
It did.
It's
We didn't really
funny to
argue with
see,
each other though, other than Rush.
because I think that even when you like something, you can understand how other people wouldn't.
So here, download Prince's. Here's a Prince song for you might like. The Get Off.
You know, I've listened to Prince, so it's not like I haven't tried.
Okay, I'm just saying. Just saying.
Just not a Prince fan. I'm sorry.
All right.
I like Dave Chappelle as Prince. Does that count?
Yeah, that should. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so yet, please click that subscribe button. We're only 5 away from our goal of 164 subscribers
As
in
long as no someone
2024.
chops off.
155 has been our max. We're up to 159 right now. Tomorrow, by the time this video drops, we might be back to 155. But for right now, as of recording, 159. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Leave your lists of hated bands below, and also if you have anything to add to our Supernova and Anaxis conversation, please leave a comment. Also, scrolling down to the description, you'll see our friends who make Filsinger Games related content. The Filsinger Games official Filsinger Games podcast roll up. The Legends team's Uncharted Territory, Dizzy Dice from Lee Lamprey, Grandpa Choco's solo promoter, which is also here on YouTube. Dave Little's Heartland Championship Wrestling is also here on YouTube. You'll find Bucky749 and Brad Plays 81 as well. I'm on Twitch Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, giving away Mighty Marble cards right now if you win a Marbles Grand Prix.
Hey, I won a Marbles Grand Prix, so I won a Mighty Marble card.
I'm shocked you haven't sold out of those yet. They got to be flying off.
You have to win them. You can't buy them. You have to win them.
Limited edition.
Yep. Just like that shirt Brock's wearing.
Galacticon debut. Hopefully. We'll talk about that at a later date. But yeah, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. We'll see you next week. Yeah, leave a comment. We'll try and interact with you. We suck at it, but Jeff says he's going to figure out his YouTube password and join us.
On my phone, it's saved. On my computer, it's not. So I'll get on my phone and check it out.
All right, sounds good.
If Jeff got all his kids to like the YouTube video, we'd be there.
Yeah, we'd have 1,000.
Yeah, you know I should push that. They'd be like, "Dad, are you talking on that stupid podcast again?" They don't really sound that gruff, but I don't know how to do their voices. So
that sounded like Ezra. He's the only one I've ever heard speak. All right, everybody, we're starting to ramble now. Thank you for everything. We'll see you next time.
In honor of Master P, I want to leave you with I got the hookup. Holla if you hear me.